Good morning, everyone. This is Evelyn. I was guided to make this drawing yesterday, and so I wanted to bring you these downloads. There's a lot of codes and shape references that may be helpful to you. And if the information is not helpful to you, at least looking at these images, I know will bring some kind of downloads to you. So I was guided to make this picture. It's titled The Three-Ring Circus: Adam, Gaia, the disc shape and the sphere shape, the Excalibur in the stone, which is the earth, and then with the weight of the world on their shoulders, basically. Down here in the bottom, it says the sword in the stone, holding the world as the flame is keeping us grounded and connected. So the middle part is the toroidal field, and this is representative of Gaia, of the earth, with the rings around it, which represents the atom. They're like Saturn rings, but like the three-ring circus. And we have all the elements here of the sword and air, the wand here, which is grounding us, the coins representing the earth, and then the cups in the middle representing the emotions. And as you see here, the two toroidal fields here are the gold coins and the Sirius twins, a little bit of humor there, and represented by the coins, the gold coins, the Christ consciousness, and there's very much twin egg energies and 8 energy here. It's actually, if you take the solid part away, if you just look at the black lines without the gold, it's actually a 24 petaled field. So the cups here at the top, and you'll see a hand holding the sword, right? So it's the Excalibur holding the sword and the stone, holding up the weight of the world upon their shoulders. Here's the Holy Grail, which is the cup at the top, and then the Holy Communion of the masculine is the cup down below. And the grounding here referenced, and here comparing the circle to the egg. The egg is shaped just like the bulb, the head of the human, and the gold. So this is showing, connecting the roots to each other and to Gaia, and the shape of the egg, which is, like the bulb and the egg of the baby that's born. And the egg represents the circle expanding into the next circle, right? So when two circles part, which I'm going to show you in my next picture, that's what happens. And so we have the Vesica Pisces here too, showing the perfect balance here, the toroidal field, the root system, the weight of the world. I'm sorry if I wasn't pointing correctly. Again, the air, the fire, the earth, and the cups in the middle of the Holy Grail and the Holy Communion of the masculine. And then the Vesica Pisces down here, the perfect balance, whether this represents the flower of life, the Jesus fish, the vagina, the perfect balance. It represents all of those things, the masculine, feminine, and the child, or the perfect balance between the two. Okay, so I'm going to get into the next page now. Okay, so this is what they also wanted me to show you. This is more expansion on the Vesica Pisces involving pi and phi. Pi is within, it's that centered human. For me, the circle is the human embodiment of source. So pi means you're perfectly centered as a human. The phi is expanding beyond yourself, right? So connection to other things, but from within. And again, that phi is the golden mean. It's the 1.618, and here's the symbol here of the Fibonacci. Here's the pi symbol of 3.14. And again, Vesica Pisces, as above, so below. Everything between the quantum leap is the 4D rainbow bridge where time stands still. So you see in the shape of the face with the Vesica Pisces here, the nose is the rainbow bridge. The bridge of the nose, the bridge of the eyebrows, that's where the quantum leap is between the fields at the 0 point. Okay? The 0 point field. So that is that example. The middle example, which I'm going to come a little closer here. Okay. So the middle section is where I was asking what's the difference between the circle and the egg? If the circle is so perfect, then why are eggs eggs? And why is our head shaped like an egg? So this information I was getting has to do with the masculine key holder and the feminine key holder. The masculine, you see, here's the brain as a circle and the mouth as a circle. I always reference the two keys being the masculine's mouth and the feminine's vagina, the two keys, where the masculine needs to speak his truth from his heart, connected down here, the uvula mouth key, or Holy Communion, and the vulva vagina key, the Holy Grail, over here, and this being the uterus. You see it's the same shape as the head and neck, the uterus and the vagina. And both very creators that are very tight-lipped. Creator, very tight-lipped. The masculine looks like an ET, the divine masculine key holder. The feminine is the doe, a deer, the deer heart energy, the key holder, and the creator. Now you see also she's got the eggs here, the ovaries and the fallopian tubes. It's just a rough drawing. It's not exact science here. But this also kind of creates an altar of the feminine to the heart, whereas here the masculine needs to connect his mouth to his heart. That's what he needs to work on. So again, this shape here also is literally a key ring. It's a tab, like you would pull on the top of a can, and also like a brass ring. So there's lots of references to this shape of the divine masculine's head with the brain in the mouth. So then we go down to this bottom reference. And I just these are my own drawings, but I just took a reference from free photo stock stuff as how the atom splits and that kind of thing. And they wanted me to bring a more practical way of looking at this. So the division of the cell is really the same thing as a classroom fire drill, as birth, as even a visit. Maybe your mother-in-law is coming over and there's only enough space in your bed for one person and you don't really want to share that space anymore. So it creates chaos, right? And it's funny because the spindle comes up, which was Gandhi's picture that I just referenced, and a spindle forms here after the chaos in order to integrate the chaos. And then the distribution is the alignment. It's like the kids, here's the chaos at the kids in a fire drill or birth, however you want to look at it. And then here's the teacher getting them organized and then into groups so that they can leave the building in a single file, right? And so there's lots of ways, it's just showing you that nature repeats itself in everything. We have the shape of the 8, very important here, the shape of the eggs here as they separate, and then the mushroom cloud as the push and pull at that last minute where the parent waves goodbye and they don't want to let go. The big boom of the mushroom, the sovereignty then happens, okay? But with the twins, this never really lets go. That's why there's push and pull, because their etheric fields are connected. So here's the DNA strands when the solitude or the person who's alone seeks outside themselves, wants to expand and reflect, they copy. There's copy of DNA, but they reflect, and so when they reflect upon themselves, it becomes the X or the Y, depending on your perspective. It's the same DNA, but one is closer and one's farther apart, the X and the Y. So again, the seeker expanding and reflecting upon themselves then creates chaos because they expand like the phi energy, expanding outside themselves. Then they need to integrate what's actually going on and then finally find some kind of distribution or alignment in order to get totally organized in a single file in order to allow the division to happen, the expansion or division. So there has to be separation. It's part of the cycle. And here's where the eggs separate. And now you get the egg shape. Here's the 8 shape, then the egg shape, and then the mushroom shape of that last little push and pull to not want to let go. And then sometimes Source has to come in with that big boom in order for the sovereignty to happen, okay, where the parent waves goodbye. So I want to note too that in looking up some of the information and some of the definitions, the basic stuff I was just getting from wikipedia.org, but something I noted about electrons and protons, I always think of electrons as masculine, but they're not. They're actually described as feminine energy. And when the electrons can't find balance with the proton masculine, they seek it elsewhere. They'll go away. Whereas the proton, when it can't seek balance, the neutron, like source energy, will come in and drop a bombshell on them. So it's just like the Tower card and the sudden events. When the masculine doesn't, doesn't do what he needs to do for his highest good, then source needs to come in and take care of it, not the feminine. The feminine goes and seeks her balance elsewhere. So I just want to bring this information in because it was very significant to the twin flame journey. And I hope this was helpful to you. Make sure you comment below if you related to something, or if you want to expand on something, or even if something doesn't relate to you. I have no religious upbringing, so a lot of the symbology is new to me, even if it seems obvious to you. Please bear with me. These symbols were definitely being called for. They were my downloads. All of the drawings are coming directly from me, not from books. Some of the definitions I got from the books just to help bring the information forward. Okay, so make sure you drink your water, get your rest, get your joy, get your nature. And as always, you guys, be good to yourselves, rise and be love.